Hello students, today we are going to take the next part of the chapter breathing and exchange of gases. In this particular chapter, we will be studying about how the mechanism of breathing takes place. Before going to this, we will be having the diagram of larynx. In this, clearly the epiglottis is being shown, which is responsible for checking the entry of air and the other food particles, so that they might not get entered into the trachea. And this is the structure of epiglottis, that is vocal cords, which is surrounded by the thyroid cartilage, C-shaped structure having a string-like structure is looking as a vocal cord, and the cup-like structure, which is C-shaped structure, is hanging out, that is arytenoid cartilage. What happened when air is blown inside it? These vocal cords become flattened and they vibrate. Due to the vibration of these, the voice is being generated, and with the help of teeth and tongue and the shape of the mouth, we convert them into the words. So this is how things works. Now coming to the breathing part, this is the structure of human thoracic cavity, in which we are having vertebrae, ribs are being mentioned here, colored structure, intercostal muscles, external intercostal muscles, diaphragm is being given. This will become more clear in this particular figure. In this figure, we have ribs, vertebrae we have. Now there is a dotted line structure is being mentioned over there. This shows how much this thoracic cavity increases during inspiration of air. Basically, respiratory movement, it is basically done 12 to 16 times per minute. So basically, what is inspiration? Inspiration involves intake of fresh air in the alveoli of the lungs, and this is the active process as it consumes energy. And there are two types of inspiratory muscles, that is pharynx and external intercostal muscles. So what happens? These muscles extend from diaphragm to ribs and vertebral column. You can see these are extended from the ribs to the vertebral columns. When these contract, what happens? Diaphragm becomes flattened. The curved diaphragm becomes flattened. As it is flattened, the cavity will increase, and about 75% of a tidal volume it will increase. Okay. Now external intercostal muscles, these are 11 pairs of muscles present between 12 pair of ribs. Okay, these are present where 12 pair of ribs are there. When these contacts, the ribs are pulled upward. When these contact, what happens? Ribs are pulled upward. The thoracic cavity increases dorsal, ventrally and laterally. How it is increased? Dorsoventrally and laterally it increases. So both type of inspiratory muscles contract simultaneously, one by one. Okay, due to which thoracic cavity increases in all directions. So when the thoracic cavity increases, this expands the lungs, which decreases the interpulmonary pressure from 2 to -6. This much it is increased through the respiratory tract. So what happens when the pressure decreases? So then air rushes through the respiratory tract. Okay, this phenomena is known as inspiration. At normal inspiration, 0.5 liter, that is 500 ml of air is inhaled. Okay. I'm now coming to the exhalation. What happens in exhalation? It involves the expelling of foul air. In this, what happens? Foul air is being expelled out. Okay. So when foul air is expelled during the rest position, the expiration is a passive process. When it is rest, there is no active energy is being used. That's why it's a passive process. Okay, the inspiratory muscle means pharynx and internal intercostal muscle, both the muscles. It is aided by recoiling power of lungs, okay, through thoracic walls. These decreases the thoracic cavity. What does they do? These decreases the thoracic cavity. But during forceful expiration, two expiratory muscles are also helpful. Okay, what are those? Abdominal muscle. First, abdominal muscle, which is present at the abdomen. These extend from the ribs to the abdominal organs. When these contact, the abdominal visceral organ are pulled upward. the organs being pulled upward a bit, so the diaphragm becomes more convex. You will see that diagram, that is diaphragm in the figure, it will become more convex. Okay, and thoracic cavity, the cavity which is created inside, is decreased anteroposteriorly. And next comes the internal intercostal muscles. They are at 11 pairs. 11 pairs of muscles present over there. So internal intercostal muscle is at 11 pair of muscles present between the ribs, and external is 12, 11 and 12 both. Okay, when these ribs are pulled downward and inward, thoracic cavity decreases dorsoventrally and laterally. Means external intercostal muscles increase the cavity dorsoventrally and laterally, while internal costal muscles decreases the cavity by dorsoventrally and laterally. When this decreases thoracic cavity, the lungs reduces its capacity and the pressure rises between plus 3 to 4 mmHg, due to which the air is being expelled out. So how it goes? It goes from alveoli to alveolar tract, then bronchioles, then bronchi, then trachea, larynx, glottis, pharynx, nasal chamber, and air is expelled out. Okay. So basically in this scenario there is two types of breathing. Before going to that, we will be studying this structure of alveoli. In this we will find the diagram A. The alveolus is there, which is covered by the blood capillaries like a fine network, and these capillaries having this layer like capillary endothelium, basement membrane, and basement membrane, and then alveolar. So this is the layer which is present between the blood and the air inside the alveoli. Now coming to the alveoli, this is the structure of alveoli. Blood capillary is running in the red color. Okay, having RBCs, endothelium cell is there, squamous epithelium is there, surfactant is there, and secretory cells are there, and alveolus is there. How exchange of gases takes place? Let's see this. How the exchange of gases. Now this is the figure in which it will be explained. Pulmonary artery is there. Okay, red blood cells depicted in the circles. In this alveoli, it is clearly mentioned that it is a ventilation system. Air is running, coming inside the alveoli. Then what is happening? As we go on into the figure, we will find the carbon dioxide is present in blood capillaries as well as in alveolus. Same thing is with the oxygen. Oxygen is also present inside the blood and in the blood capillary as well. So why this transmission takes place? This takes place just because of the difference in the amount of air or pressure between the alveoli and the blood. Only 2% of gas exchange takes place in this particular process. So what happened? As the amount of oxygen present inside the alveolus is more than that of oxygen present inside the blood. So what happened? This oxygen diffuses inside the blood, while carbon dioxide present inside the blood is more than that of the carbon dioxide present inside the alveolus. So carbon dioxide diffuses into the alveolus. Both process carries on simultaneously and at the same time. But the question rises, why these oxygen and carbon dioxide do not get mixed? The reason behind this is oxygen combines with hemoglobin of that which is attached to RBCs to form oxyhemoglobin. The compound formed is when oxygen combines with hemoglobin, it forms oxyhemoglobin. Okay, and carbon dioxide travels in a fluid form, that is carbonates form, hence they are not mixed and easily get transported to the target sites. This is how this transfers. At the same time, you'll find, we know that diffusion is a very much slow process. Still, we keep on breathing, or exchange of gas takes 12 to 16 times per minute. So this happens as there is a amount of or a volume of air always there in the lungs. Whether we are inhaling or exhaling, the amount of air is always there, fixed amount of volume in the air, and rest is expelled out and rest is inhaled. That is now considered as a tidal volume. It is the volume of air inspired or expired with each normal breathing. That is tidal volume. Okay, so it is about 500 ml. How much it is? It is about 500 ml. Then there are other volumes which will be studied in the further class: inspiratory reserve volume, inspiratory capacity, expiratory reserve volume, expiratory capacity, vital capacity. So there are all the amount of air which we will discuss in the next class. So now today's topic is over. Today we have discussed about how the exchange of gases takes place inside the alveoli. Okay, and what is the structure or how the breathing process takes place, and what are the functions of internal intercostal muscles and external intercostal muscles and diaphragm in the inhalation and exhalation of air.